Hello, I'm Elgato and welcome back to the video. So we're going to talk about the update Aquatic, and specifically on to talk about when it's going to be coming out for Minecraft on all platforms. The reason I figured this would be important is because now we've reached the stage of being nearly at the end of the features being added in this update, so the question of like, is the update done, is it ready to release now, comes up quite a bit, and I figured I'd talk about when it should be coming out based on the complete kind of update, and whether it is finished or not, because the simple answer is no, and the long answer is sort of. So yeah, hopefully you do enjoy the video, like if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like these kind of Minecraft discussion videos. Again, I think they're kind of useful, because they line up with the news in terms of like, this is the latest stuff going on, but it's also a lot more about my opinion and how things are actually going based on the past of Minecraft in general. So we're going to be discussing kind of all three platforms together here. I know that's confusing, but they all are linked to the release of this update, so it's kind of important to cover them all at the same time here. So first of all, let's talk about how finished the update is, because that's the most important part as to when this update can come out. This update, you know, even if it was scheduled to release tomorrow, it couldn't release tomorrow if it wasn't finished, and right now it's not quite finished. So yeah, again, simple answer, is the update Aquatic finished? No, but it's actually very close there. The dolphins were kind of the last huge holdout feature because they had several types of treasure they wanted to add to the game, and we've seen several of those treasures come, and you know, the Heart of the Sea and the Nautilus Shell that eventually make the conduit. And although I imagine we'll see like maybe a surprise or two coming from here on out, I think most of the big things they wanted to add are already in the game and already in the beta. So that's exciting. That's kind of great. We do also expect to see some combat changes we haven't seen yet. We expect to see, again, potentially a new type of treasure, some new advancements on the Java edition, and presumably achievements for the versions of the game. But still, we're most of the way there in terms of huge features like mobs and like structures and stuff like that. So that implies that we're nearing the end of the development phase of this update. We could see that happen before the end of April, and that's a really exciting phase, because you might then say, oh, as soon as they put all the features in the update for the Bedrock and they put all the features in the game for the Java, which by the way, Bedrock is lagging a tiny bit behind Java, but I imagine that'll be fixed in the next snapshot or two with turtles and stuff coming over. Once they've put all the things into the game, then what's the big deal? Why can't they release it then? And that's because usually they enter this huge phase of bug fixes and pre-releases and stuff like that. So obviously most people who play Minecraft just want to have a smooth experience, and although betas are great for getting the content out there, there's a lot of bugs found within them, so they do a lot of bug testing, and that's why they pre-release it, where it's like, you can download it now, but it's not recommended. And because we're bug fixing across all these platforms, again, Minecraft Java is only on like 3 platforms and it's kind of the same, but Minecraft Bedrock goes across all these different things, they have to make sure it's perfectly bug fixed across all of those, or at least as close as they can do, and that takes a surprising amount of time. It's weird that it takes so long to bug fix a game, but it is something they have to do, so it's going to take them weeks and weeks of pre-releases. Again, based on previous updates, this pre-release phase can be like 6 weeks. In this case, it's going to be like a few weeks. Again, could be 4, could be 5. It depends on how many bugs there are and how fast they get fixed. It's not really something you can quantify, but there is a several week period that tends to happen to do with that, and based on the fact that this is going to be the first proper simultaneous, like the whole way through release, there could be a lot of like shared communication and bug fixing that makes it faster, or it could go the other way where it takes longer because one platform finishes bug fixing and the other one has to finish. But yeah, both those platforms have a bug fix, and potentially then the console editions as well. So yeah, that tells us that again we can expect this somewhere in May, towards the end or towards the start of June, because we can combine this information with what we know about the console edition of the game. So console edition developed by 4J Studios, entirely separate to the Bedrock version that also runs on the Xbox, although a lot of people get confused by that distinction. But it's a separate version of the game that is kind of ported from the Bedrock and kind of the Java. Again, this update, we don't know which will be ported from directly. We can obviously tell some things from that, but they're working on this exact same update at the same time, but they're not as vocal about it, they're not sharing as much because there is no beta system. However, it is being worked on right now, as they have confirmed recently with the whole like seed tweeting thing. So 4J Studios are working on something, and they're going to be showing it to us soon. So that's a big deal, because usually 4J, the time between screenshot and like the first showing off the update and the time it comes out is a lot shorter than the PC platforms, because again, they're usually porting over content, so it's less of like, oh, here's the first time you're seeing it, and more, here's the first time you're seeing it on a console. So yeah, when they release their first screenshot, their first real reveal of an update, it tends to follow within about the next week with another screenshot and so on and so forth. But the time between the first screenshot that comes out for by 4J Studios for a console edition update and the actual update itself is never more than about between a month and 2 months. It's somewhere in that radius pretty much every single time. I think it's been outside of it for like the hugest update, the 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, like 3 updates in one. There was like a slight increase on that, but if we exclude that anomaly from the dozen or so updates that 4J Studios has released now, there is usually about a 1.5, again, sometimes it's close to a month, sometimes it's close to 2 months, time between the first screenshot of the update and when you can actually play it yourself. So that actually plays into all of this, because they said they were showing it off soon. It might even be within this week right now. So again, if they're showing off something soon, they're showing off the first piece of the update, that tells us that the main update is somewhere around a month and a half away from when they're first intending to reveal it, or it could be as short as a month. And again, that lines up with those exact same days dates too, of like, oh yeah, somewhere towards the end of May, the start of June. And then the final thing, the kind of killer, is although this is just, you know, a title on their YouTube channel, it's the only time they've ever said the official date they're planning to release it. They said on their YouTube channel with, you know, the Minecon thing, the update Aquatic is coming to Minecraft spring 2018. So spring 2018 obviously goes into May, if I'm not terrible at seasons, but that would lead us to believe that they've, you know, promised, you know, spring, and they've made it an internal thing. They've, you know, like maybe they announced, they don't want to announce it in too many places, but that's what they internally are going for, because spring 2018, that's early 2018, and that's when, you know, they said a whole bunch of times they wanted to release it before. So that means they're probably intending to release this update by the end of May. Their like internal production date, if I had to guess, is saying something like May 22nd or May 29th, or it's saying something towards the end there, and they're going to try and get it finished, you know, before or on those days. Maybe that's like their intention, and that's what the, you know, Bedrock team at the very least, and presumably the Java Edition team are going after as well. And again, remember, both those teams have to synchronize to the same dates. That could push things back, so maybe they've got like the panic backup date of like May 29th, and that might put things really simply as like, oh, when is the update Aquatic coming out? May 22nd or May 29th. But just bear in mind, quite a few projects now that Minecraft's been working on since the Bedrock thing. Again, I'm not like, this isn't a criticism, this is just Minecraft Bedrock is so many platforms. Now you have to consider, you know, consoles, Switch is probably going to release in that time. Considering all these things have to be dealt with, you know, within these few days, it makes sense that it might be pushed back like a week or two, like the Better Together update was, and even that was like, you know, that was pushed back when it wasn't even finished. You know, this has to be finished when it comes out. It can't be unfinished. The Super Duper graphics was pushed back, you know, like way into the, you know, grass of the future, and that makes me think there's a chance this will be pushed back too. So yeah, if this update comes like, you know, on their internal times, I'd imagine you'd see it in May, but I would say it's quite likely, or at least possible, that this releases early June as well. So to answer the titular question, I would say that the update is mostly finished in terms of features, but there is obviously a lot of bug fixing and fine combing and, you know, making sure that everything's perfect to go through before it can come out. Again, you'll probably see that come into stable releases on Bedrock if you want to see that sort of thing. That's going to be happening, you know, fairly soon, so look forward to that. But then there's a lot of bug fixing to be done, so it's not finished in that kind of terms, and that means that you can't expect a release in the next like 2 weeks. I would be shocked if this came out like, you know, like in the next week or two, or even 3 or 4 weeks after this video, because there is a lot of steps between having an update be finished in terms of features and having an update be ready to go, you know, for like 140 million players or whatever the, you know, total with count is now. It's a big number, and yeah, also on terms of like Minecraft console, it seems like they're lining up to try and release it there at the same time. That would be really cool if that actually does, you know, work out. Again, we're gonna have to wait and see on that one, but I'm excited to see the progress regardless. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Also, this was recorded just before I left the country, just in case like there's some horribly outdated reference in there, but I hope you all enjoyed it regardless, because I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day. I'm hoping I am wherever I am right now, and follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with that sort of stuff. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.